these two games, they're so similar in how they play, the camera view. Both games are a third person shooters, tactical shooters, right? So taking control of squad mates, sending them here to different locations, right? But yeah, in the mechanics, the stealth is slightly more oriented in Ghost Recon. SOCOM 4 is more a run and gun with few stealth sections. But the pacing is similar. The camera view is very similar. The shooting similar. Grenade throwing feels very similar. And both games, this is like one of those comparisons where it's like a Dante's Inferno and let's say a God of War 3 or so on, where the games are so similar. It's sometimes hard to tell these two games apart, right? First off, no, SOCOM 4. So SOCOM 4 is not like SOCOM 1 and 2. This is a very different type of SOCOM. It plays more like a Medal of Honor game or like a Ghost Recon game. But SOCOM 4 and Ghost Recon, a Future Soldier, and the overall pacing of it, like you're taking out, like your 4 to 6, squad members will literally take out enemies, and you have enemies spawning. You gotta take them out, get to the next objective, right? And and I try not to get killed. And both games, the difficulty wise, they feel very similar. You'll die very quickly if you're not careful. SOCOM 4, I died lots of times. You're gonna be outnumbered, right? Ghost Recon as well, you're gonna die lots of times. And that hit marker, that red hit marker, before you know it, like you're basically dead. So like in both games, it's very similar, right? Ghost Recon does more with the stealth. You have more to work with. You got a drone. You got a cloaking ability. So cloaking is like when you move slow and crouch down, a soldier cloaks. So basically, what happens? That soldier goes invisible, so the enemies can't see you, giving you like this tactical advantage, right? And like it does more things like targeting enemies are better. Like for example, you can simultaneously take out many enemies with your squad mates, right? The sequences are are better, but there's just more to work with. There's more devices as well. SOCOM is more of a basic type of like Call of Duty, a third person Call of Duty, where it's like you have a main weapon, a secondary weapon, and you have grenades, either a frag grenade, flashbang, smoke grenade, concussion a grenade, and then like you have this one too, like you also have sequences where you have airstrikes, rocket launchers, and all that. So it's more of a more grounded base, a shooter. But that's mostly how they differ. As well in the customization, Ghost Recon does more with the customization of the guns. But mechanic wise, the guns feel very similar. Just the shooting feels very similar. The movement feels very similar in how you move and how you run. Ghost Recon Future Soldier, you actually run. SOCOM 4 feels more like a jog. You run slower. SOCOM 4 as well, you move heavier. It feels like you move heavier. Ghost Recon, you move lighter. But relatively, these two games, sometimes it's like I can't even tell the difference between these two games. They are that similar. They are really that similar. But yeah, and if you guys like tactical shooters, I know third person shooters really, I would highly recommend picking this up. If you're a fan of the original SOCOM games, like me, I think even though SOCOM 4 is different, I still think it is worth trying out. I felt like Sony was trying to do something different, like with the SOCOM franchise. Some of the elements didn't really work, right? They're trying to do something more of like a Medal of Honor or a Ghost Recon, but yeah, it's still a very unique experience. So going back to how similar the games are as well. The enemy AI reacts very similar, like to your presence, right? And once you get alerted, they alert the base and what have you, and but just how the enemies react, how they shoot you, how they move to cover, how you move to cover. It's almost like the devs between these two games were copying each other, or they took one inspiration and put it like into another game. And I know it's kind of unfair because SOCOM 4 came out before Ghost Recon. SOCOM 4 is 2010. Ghost Recon is 2012, right? So during the peak years, or near the end years of the PS3 generation, right? So yeah, but SOCOM 4 and Ghost Recon, especially Ghost Recon, I highly recommend picking it up for its unique. It had a lot of uniqueness to it as well. But yeah, in the cloaking, the UAV, the drone, right? But yeah, another thing quickly about it is the overall pacing of the mission. SOCOM is a little bit faster. Ghost Recon missions are longer. I believe there is more missions in SOCOM. No, between the two games, there is basically. Oh yeah, so for like missions, SOCOM 4, the missions are faster, right? You'll some missions are like only stealth. Other missions are more run and gun. But the missions are faster. You'll objectives are quicker. So Ghost Recon Future Soldier, it will take you a longer time to complete those objectives, and the missions are longer. They are longer, and it's more of an actual story going on. The voice acting is very good between both games. Just talking between a squad mates, HQ talking to you like through the radio, and yeah, like it's just really good. It's just a really well done voice acting between these two games.